हाँ सर 1 minute. Okay sir.
Yes sir. Hello.
आवाज नहीं उड़ा रहा सर चपात. Hello.
Hello.
Yes sir.
Yes
To
sir.
listen?
Am I audible to you sir? Sir, am I audible? Hello.
Hello.
Sir, am I audible?
Sir, can you listen?
Am I audible?
Sir?
Nayyar sir.
Nayyar sir.
Yes sir.
Sir, we are just make you as a. Am I audible, sir? Actually, I'm.
No, Dheeraj sir is not replying. Where is Dheeraj sir?
He's also there, sir, but he's having little technical issue with him. So he's also there.
Okay. Are you able to see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is visible now. Yes, your presentation is visible, sir. It's gone now, sir.
एक कॉलिंग साठी सर.
I request all the participants to mute his or her mic. I request all the participants, please mute your mic. Hello. Dr. Nayyar, sir.
Yes sir.
Is my voice audible to you, sir?
Yes sir. Properly audible. Is my voice audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Properly audible. Audible, sir. So, if you wanted to share something there, so that somehow we can see here, sir.
Yeah, the screen has already shared, sir.
Yes. Right now it is visible, sir. So it is visible now.
Yeah, actually, I'm just swapping the screen to here. That is the reason. So don't worry for the screen. Once you start the session, then I will be start sharing the screen.
Yeah. So without wasting time, sir, it's almost 5 p.m. today. So I request to Dr. D.P. Kuraskar, sir, to start give his start giving his introduction first. So over to Kuraskar, sir. Hello. Hello. Good evening to one and all. Present for this webinar session. Finally, the time has come for the most awaited webinar at the SSGMC Shegao. Hope you are doing well and in the good health during this pandemic situation. I am Dr. Dheeraj Kuraskar, coordinator of this webinar. I feel privileged to welcome you all on behalf of SSGMC family Shegao to the international webinar on wireless communication and future of IoT. This webinar is organized by and brought to you by Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, Shegao. Now, today we have with us organizing chairman of this international webinar and principal of our institute, Professor Dr. S.P. Somani, sir. I welcome you, sir. Now, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce today's eminent speaker and top rank scientist, Dr. Anand Nayyar, sir. He is a professor, researcher and scientist due to University, Da Nang, Vietnam. We welcome you, sir. Despite of critical situation in your country, still you are ready to deliver webinar session for us is really commendable. We are really thankful to you, sir. I appeal all the participants that during webinar session, if you have any query, then you can write in WhatsApp group or YouTube comment section. Now, without taking much of your time, I hand over this session to Dr. Anand Nayyar, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Dheeraj, and thank you for inviting me. And it's a real privilege to be associated with your institute, as your institute is having a very high name in the world of education. So it's my privilege and honor to be associated. And I hope this webinar will be an eye-opener session for your faculty members, the students, researchers, as well as all those other people who are listening to me. Because when I deliver the lecture, I believe that every people of us, even today, that even when I'm delivering, I should be also acting as a student in which I should be also learning and should be delivering in the best possible outcomes. So I would like to request all of you, first of all, to please close your cameras and also please mute your mics so that the proper bandwidth should be there and we should not face any sort of lags during the presentation. Okay. Dr. Dheeraj, is my presentation visible to you, sir?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Anand Nayyar, and I'm working as professor, researcher, and scientist in Graduate School, Dutan University, Da Nang, Vietnam. So, as the topic for today will be the future wireless communication, that is on 6G, as well as we will be discussing with regard to Internet of Things. So before I dive into the lecture and take you to the amazing journey of 6G and Internet of Things, let me first of all introduce myself. So here you can see some of the photographs of my glimpses of life. So on the left hand side, you can see this is my photograph of Dev Day Da Nang, which is known as one of the most prestigious events in which all the professional scientists and industry professionals are being called from across Asia. And last year, I have delivered this webinar on Internet of Things as well as sensor communications and wireless sensor networks. And my lecture has been rated as the #1 lecture in that scene. On the #2, you can see my photograph handling the award of Outstanding Researcher Award. And this is the first award to be given to as a foreigner in the history of 25 years of my university. I'm the first one as a foreigner from India to be awarded by this medal in Vietnam. So here you can see my photograph of IC IIT 2020. I'm acting as chairman of this conference from the last 4 years. And we have organized this conference this year in Hanoi, Vietnam. And next year, we are organizing this conference again in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And all the papers in this conference are indexed in ACM Digital Library, Scopus, ISI Web of Science, and other popular indexing services. So if you have a very good research paper, you are most welcome to join the paper in our conference. And the website is iciit.org. So here you can see, even as a ASEAN distinguished speaker, even I have acted as the keynote speaker for Google I/O last year. And here I have delivered my webinar on machine learning as well as the future of deep learning in healthcare. And here you can see my innovation that I have designed. It's an owl that is known as smart owl, and you can place it into your home, and it can convert your ordinary traditional home to a smart home. And it can be, you can say, it can provide you the temperature, moisture, humidity level, and even it can control your smart lighting, smart television, and even smart security of your home. So it can give you the huge light of Internet of Things in the near future. And what I have done in my lab and what are the innovations that I have designed in the world of IoT, I will be discussing later in this lecture. So here is my brief profile for all of you, and all of you, please, I would like to aware all of you that over here we have a pandemic situation, and I don't want to give you my personal problem, but you can see that my energy level could be somewhat slow because I have not eaten the food from the last 14 days, and there is even a pandemic situation where food is not available. So I'm very sorry that if the energy level goes down, but I will try to keep the energy level as up as possible. So I'm very sorry because we are starving like anything, but we have no food right now. So I'm working as professor, researcher, and scientist in graduate school, Dutan University, Da Nang, Vietnam. I'm a PhD computer science in the area for sensor communication, swarm intelligence, and network simulation. 16 years of teaching and research experience, including consultancy for Industry 4.0, cyber physical systems, artificial intelligence, and blockchain for various IT giants in Vietnam. I'm specialized in WSN, managed swarm intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, cloud computing, big data, IoT, smart cities, blockchain, brain computing, and network simulation, and many other areas. I'm also collaborating in the world of brain-computer interface as well as future humanoid and cobotic technology. I have published 425 research papers, out of which 125 research papers are in Springer, IEEE, and ACM conferences, and out of which 72 research papers are right now accepted in SCI journals. And by the end of this year, I'm expecting to complete my 100 SCI papers. I have published 25 books with 75 plus certifications from IT organizations like Microsoft, Cisco, GAQM, Bing Cert, Google, and many others. 1600 plus citations on Google Scholar, H-index with 20 and I-index of 52. And even I'm acting as senior member for ACM and IEEE. Even I'm acting as ACM distinguished speaker, the first one and the only one in Vietnam. And even I'm acting as the editor-in-chief of my journal that is known as International Journal of Smart Vehicles and Smart Transportation. And with the grace of God, next year we will be applying for this journal into Scopus indexing. So I'm associated with 500 plus conferences as national and international reviewer, scientific committee member, program committee member, proceeding chair, and many other positions. I have delivered 200 plus invited talks in 8 countries, delivered 50 keynote talks and 100 plus faculty development programs across 9 countries, certified drone pilot. Even I'm also having my own RC plane and my own squad of 3 drones. 2 inventions, 3 patents, and 15 copyrights. And I have won 26 awards for my teaching and research. And the recent award that has been given to me is Distinguished Scientist Award. So the 3 mottos from which I start my lecture always, that because today you are going to learn the future. So let us give you the first 3 mottos of my life. And I believe that these 3 mottos will also change your level of thinking and will make you into a better standard thinker and even the researcher in your career. So the first thinking that I have is known as knowledge for a better word. You all will agree with me that the technology that was about 10 years back, it is not the technology that we use today. Or either we can say that technology about 2.5 years back, we are not even using that technology today. And the technology that we use today will not be used after 1.5 years. Now imagine everybody that if we are not keeping ourselves updated, how can we change the world? The future word is smart, connected, and intelligent word with a plethora of options in terms of connectivity, communications, gadgets, robotics. So in order to make that word connected word, in order to communicate yourself, in order to make the word contributed towards your thinking, so we have to keep our knowledge updated. So that is the reason we can always say knowledge for a better word. And I always say my students, don't consider yourself as a professional or a developer or even as a CEO one day you will become. So always consider that you are a student. So second point, which is very important for you to understand, if you're stuck in some problem and no one is supporting you, this occasionally happens with us and even especially to PhD and master students. So first of all, relax yourself because God wants you to learn many things. So there are resources, there are options. So you will learn many things. And the third most important thing, we the people of computer science, electronics, communication, we are the people who lay the foundation to take the word to the next level, to into smart, connected word of intelligent systems. So we have to face lots of challenges and hardships every day. So we should not be afraid and we should keep on moving on. So if you want to collaborate with me and my university, so here are the two options that are available in front of you. So if you are a student of masters, or even if you are you want to pursue your PhD into Vietnam, into my university, so you are most welcome to join me as PhD computer science. And as a fellow, you can say we have 3 seats available in the area for computer cloud computing with machine learning, sensor networks, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and even other topic can be worked out. So the eligibility is first class masters with 5 Scoopers papers or 2 SCA papers, and the willingness to research with passion. This is most important. And even if you are a PhD in computer science and you're looking for a postdoc fellowship, you want to do your postdoc. So in my university, under me, we have 2 seats available. So the first seat can be in terms of cloud computing because I'm working in cloud computing. Second is 5G and 6G. And the third is sensor communications. So if you are looking for any other option, that can be worked out depending on your qualifications as well as your contributions. So the eligibility is PhD computer science or IT or electronics or communication engineering with 10 SCA papers, and we only take papers that are only published in Q1 and Q2 journals, and should have the strong skill set in programming and willingness to work 24/7, because side by side doing your research, you will be also offered a position to be as a guest faculty or even as an assistant professor in my university. So here is the advertisement of my university for postdoctoral fellow. And if you are interested, please send me your resume as well as your teaching and research statement. Along with that, I need your proposal. What area do you want to research and what are the problem that you are actually ready to solve that? So here is my website. There is my email. So if you want to have my email and WhatsApp number, I will be giving you at the end of this session. So in order to apply, we need a brief biodata with your detailed resume, and especially we focus towards on your SCI as well as Scoopus and ESA publications. But only conferences that we require is ACM or Springer. We require your teaching and research statement with 10 top publications, and the research should be in the blood and you should be willing to work 24/7. So the agenda for today will be that we should discuss on 6G, the future wireless communication, because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that today we talk of IoT, and IoT is giving lots of things outside in terms of vehicles, in terms of drones, smart healthcare, smart cities, smart grids. So in the near future, we can transform this IoT to Internet of Everything, which means the world will be smartly connected, and we will be having fog computing as well as edge computing as compared to cloud computing. So it is very important for you to understand what is 6G, because in order to facilitate this type of connected communication, we require low latency, very less overhead, and high bandwidth. So that is the reason, everybody, 6G is one of the most important technology that has to be started with the research in 2020 itself, because no doubt 5G is already there. And maybe the next iPhone that is coming in the month of October, the rumors are coming that iPhone 12 will be 5G compatible. And even you can see that Samsung Galaxy Note 20 and even other phones that are coming from Huawei and other companies like Vivo, they are already 5G enabled. But the only question is, even if we have the mobile phones, do we actually have the 5G? We are living in India. Over there, sometimes we know that even we don't have the problem, we don't find proper connectivity in order to perform WhatsApp call, Skype call. So that is a problem in India, that connectivity is not so good. And even we know what is the usability of the broadbands. We pay so much, but still our broadbands are not of good quality. So we will be discussing these options. And it doesn't matter where you start. The only thing is to begin. So let us begin the journey with the future of wireless communication that is known as 6G. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a small course for all of you in which you really are interested to work on 6G. And suppose if you don't know much about 6G, so I will be taking everything from the base and everything will be cleared in front of you that why exactly we require 6G and what are the problems and drawbacks in terms of 5G. And that is the reason we have to go towards 6G. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, 6G is right now into the research, which means right now there is no actual standard and even we don't know what exactly will be the face of 6G when it comes out, because still a high massive amounts of dollars are being spent by the top 5 companies in the world, which are even the top 4 runners in order to implement 5G. So let me take you the 5 companies. First of all, the first company which is actually spending tons of dollars in the world in order to communicate, in order to take the mankind to the next generation of communication is number 1 is Huawei. Number 2 is Nokia. Number 3, that is highly dependable company in the world, is Samsung. Number 4 is China Mobile. And number 5 is one more company from Korea, but I will be taking the name of that company at the end of my session when I will be telling you practically how the 6G is going to work. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that you have seen many technologies like USB technology, coolant computing in terms of computer hardware. We have seen 5G. We have seen tops of portable and unique gadgets in the world. And even the IoT is even called a miracle for all of us. That's called magical. But 6G is going to empower the world, and 6G is known as a near magical technology that we are going to face maximum by 2027 or 2030. So still by 2025, the world will actually shift from 3G or 4G to 5G. But in the near future, for high-end applications, for connected mankind into the intelligent systems, we require 6G. So in this presentation, I will be first of all discussing the evolution, the key issues, the technologies, and after that, the most important for all of you is known as real-time use cases. So consider this presentation as an eye-opener for all of you. And if you are interested to do your research with me, because I'm going to finalize 2-3 papers, and after that I'm also looking to write the biggest review paper in the world for 6G, you are most welcome to join my team. So the agenda for this presentation right now will be history of mobile data networks. After that, we will be discussing ecosystem of mobile industry. Then I will be telling you the evolution of 6G communication, motivation towards 6G, 6G technologies and innovations, what are the major challenges, and after that we will be discussing real-time use cases. And the most important for today, I will be giving you the top research areas in 6G. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, even if you crawl the internet, you will find very less information of 6G. And most of the information that I'm going to give you right now is from the industry as well as from my internal sources from the industry, that actually what is going to happen. But still we are in fluctuation. We are in dilemma that whether this is going to be or whether it is going to be the more advanced. But what I'm going to give you right now, it is actually confirmed and it will be there. So you can see that the history of mobile data networks, it actually laid the foundation in 1947 when we have the 0G. So you can see that this is one of the abstract and the cover sheet of technical memoranda that was actually laying the foundation for mobile telephony for wide area networks. And in that, even today, we use the same type of telecommunication technology. So the first mobile phone is actually made by Martin Cooper. He's basically known as the father of mobile communication today, with the utilization of 1G. And you can see the phone in his hand. It was the basic forerunner companies which were known as Motorola, Panasonic, and even which we known as HTC. So one more question for all of you, that if anybody asks you that which was the first company that made the smartphone, it was actually HTC. Sony immediately started, but Samsung, Apple, these are the most latest companies. They were not the forerunner companies into this. But the history of mobile communication and the history of telecommunication, if you see, the most important company is known as Motorola, because even they started their communication or the wireless communication with walkie-talkies and other things. Even even today, Motorola is one of the company that is known as the highly innovated company in terms of communication. So you can say that in 1978, the first cellular trial system was started, and the commercial launch was actually when I also took birth in 1984. So in 1984, the commercial technology or the commercial wireless communication, it actually started when even smart antennas were not even the way near. Smart antennas actually started in the year of 1995 to 2001 when we actually started implementation. And that is the reason sometimes we find the problems, because today we have advanced MIMO technologies, we have AI and machine learning and deep learning, but gone were the days when we have to face challenges in order to lay a call when we don't have automated exchanges. So the democratization of mobile telephony, which actually started with 2G, that was done by the Finnish Prime Minister, the first word GSM call. And you can see that if you talk of today, which country is the most advanced in communications and telecommunication, no doubt it is Korea as well as Taiwan, but we should not forget of Finland, because over there you just have to buy the mobile phone and all your calling, all your SMS and ISD calls are actually free. And even let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, like we live in India, we have the right to freedom. We have some rights like a right to information. So in Finland, there is also known as right to internet. So which means that if you are a family member and your family is having 5 members, so every member has a right to have 1 Mbps connection at their home, which means that if you are a family of 4 people at your home, there will be 4 Mbps and it will not be divided by 8. Okay, because in India, even though, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me, you no doubt in India, we have Reliance Jio, we have Airtel, and they give you the layman term called broadband, that fast internet, and we all see happy that internet is going to be fast. But let me tell you, these companies are befooling you. Because why? They are not giving you the actual speed for what you are paying. Because if they agree to you that, okay, we will provide you 2 Mbps, that is actually theoretical. They have to divide by 8, and that will be known as effective bandwidth. And even there is a problem with SNR also. So you can say that Nokia was also the Finnish company that actually laid the foundation, and we all know this handset by Nokia 3310. And if you ask me one question, that which phone I would like to bring from the past to the future, and even it is today, that is known as Nokia 3310, the most important phone. But I don't know that why Nokia is not taking some good decisions. Still, it is under the losses. But the only reason is that the not having early adoption towards Android and even adopting Windows Phone, which was again a bad flop. So the comprehensive overview you can see right now in this presentation right now, you can see. So you can see 1G that started in 1980s, but it was only analog. And we have the POT system, which means the landline systems, and the platform was only analog and it was only having application of voice. So it was transformed with wireless communication when we have the 2G in 1990s, and we have the speed which is less than 2 gigahertz, which means it's a spectrum, or can say we have the ISDN capacity, and the platform became digital. But in 3G, the platform became circuit switching, and we have the UMTS technology. We all know GSM, we all know CDMA technology. But the 4G, which I would like to inform all of you today, that 4G is basically in India, it is actually known as effective 4G, but it is not core 4G. Because you will all agree with me that even though you are using 4G, your mobile phone will never touch the speed of Mbps. But in 4G, you must have to touch at least minimum 3 to 5 Mbps, but effective speed start from 13 to 21 Mbps. Now, before I go to 5G, I would like to inform you about one information, a small story that happened to me. I have been to Korea, South Korea, about 1.5 years back, and I landed at Gyeongbok Airport. I was in Gyeongbok National University for a visiting lecture. And at that airport, one person told me that, sir, do you want internet or do you want the SIM? So I told, I just need internet. I don't have to call any person. So they just handed me a small hotspot. And they told that, okay, sir, this is the hotspot for you for next 7 days. And you just have to keep in your phone and just activate your phone with just Wi-Fi and everything. And you will be stunned to note that I was traveling from Busan to Daegu for a trip to 2-3 universities. And I was in a bullet train. And in that bullet train, I was traveling at a speed of about 700 kilometers per hour. And you will be stunned to note that during that speed, I was enjoying about 6 to 7 Gbps of connection. Now you can see that in bullet train, I was enjoying Gbps. And I asked one person, what is the effective speed of mobile communication there? They said that maybe it is in Gbps. We started in Mbps 7 to 8 years ago. Now imagine where is Korea and imagine how much infrastructure we still require in India to make up. Okay, so now talk of 4G. So we can say that it started in 2010s and we have the smart gadgets today because the world has gone portable with laptops, tablets, etc. And we have the packet switch network today. So the most unexpected application is Facebook and YouTube. But after some couple of slides, I will be telling you what exactly we are going to use the phone and you will be all stunned today. That is a deep research of us. Now the 5G. Now, ladies and gentlemen, many people say that, sir, when the 5G will come? So I always tell them 5G is today. 5G has already started in China. 5G is already there in Taiwan. It is already there in Korea. It is already there in some cities of USA. And it has already been into the early adoption with lots of, you can say, under the European Union. Even London is going to adopt 5G by the end of this month. So 5G, what is the problem with 5G? Because you cannot convert the existing 3G, like you can have converted 3G to 4G, but you cannot convert the existing 4G to 5G. You need new antennas, but the only problem is 5G gives you high speed, but the most important thing is that in order to perform coverage, you have to add double, triple of antennas. And that is a problem of 5G. So 5G will be, you can say, more than 100 gigahertz, and it is basically based on cloud network. Yes, everybody. So the cloud will be the platform in which we will be having software-defined networking. So what it is, I will be telling you. And the most important application that we can see is the implementation of IoT in real time, like industrial IoT with cyber physical systems. We can have IoT implemented to smart grids, smart agriculture, smart cities, and even you can say smart healthcare. So for that 5G application are there. But talking of 6G, everybody, it will be in 2030. Still we are a decade before. Still we have to wait a lot, at least a decade, because 6G technology is still under the core development. So you can say that it will be not in gigahertz, like you can see we have gigahertz over here, but it will be in terahertz. That's the first, you can say, the change. It means that the existing antennas have to be replaced again. Even though you will have the 5G antenna, but if you want to enjoy 6G in the future, again, you have to replace the entire infrastructure. So you can say that still even the fixed access, it is unknown, and you can see the platform will be AI and still the applications are unknown. But what we can see that in 6G, we have the connected cars, the flying cars. So that will be the most important application that we can have. But other application that according to me will be there, it will be discussed after some time. So you can see that this is the most important data for all of us to understand. And you can see that internet trends have done this research, and lots of people were asked that why do you use your mobile phones? And you will be stunned to note that the people don't use mobile phones today for the first top reasons to do the calling. Even let me tell you, in every day, I get lots of less calls, but I get more WhatsApp and Facebook messages. Yes, everybody, maybe in one day, I just make 2 or 3 calls, and rest every time I am watching my YouTube, I'm checking my emails, I'm replying to my Facebook messages, I'm going for my WhatsApp or Skype messages or other things. And you can see that the number one area that people use mobile phone is shopping, then entertainment, business and finance, utilities, news, sports, photography, personalization, games, and lifestyle. Now you can see that even the calling facility is not even among the top 10, which means the smart technology and the faster communications has changed the way that this smartphone is being used. So don't consider that phone is only for calling. Now it's a multi-behavioral advice, which is actually away from calling. Maybe in the near future, we can say that we are using phones in order to get connected like a digital twin. Even our phone is unlocking the car, which means our phone is acting as a key. So in the near future, everything will start from the smartphone and everything will end at the smartphone. So why we need a new generation? This is the most important question. We started from 0G when we have pagers, we have 1G cordless phones, then 2G, GSM and CDMA, the 3G, 4G, 5G, and now we want to welcome 6G. But the most important thing, which already came to know in front of you, is known as technological breakthrough readiness. Gone were the days, everybody, then we have to use some cable televisions, but we have advanced satellite TVs today, digital televisions. Today we have Netflix, Apple TV Plus. So the televisions, no doubt, they don't want to come with a, you can say, a cable content. Maybe in the near future, you will stop using your Dish TV and Tata Skies. You will all be using Netflix because everything will be available on Netflix or Apple TV Plus. So in order to enable that, you need to improve the bandwidth at your home. Okay, so we need new services, applications, and use cases. So that's the reason that we have to go from 1G to 4G to 5G to even 6G. So the ecosystem of mobile industry, that is what the research is. You can see we have mobile network operators with Verizon, Docomo, network vendors. We have Samsung, Ericsson, Nokia. And even let me tell you, the fifth company that I would like to inform all of you is Ericsson. So Ericsson is also playing a crucial role in order to perform some research into 6G. And even HTC is also doing a very good research over there. So don't consider that these companies make handsets and they are just into like making some ecosystems. They are actually just, it's a part of that. So you can say that Sony is making PlayStation also, but Sony is into the smart televisions also. So that's just a division. Okay, so like we have Microsoft, a big company, not only Windows, but it has Xbox, it has Exchange Server, it has Office, it has even APIs. Even Microsoft is a consulting firm. Even it is doing good into the flying cars also. So the ecosystem of mobile industry is going to become a hybrid ecosystem of the future. And even let me tell you, lots of the companies like Hyundai, they are even going to Nokia in order to find that what type of antennas we require in order, what type of, you can say, communication system we require in the car so that the car can become an autonomous car. Because in the future, engines will be there, but in order to place that car, the most important thing is to improve the communications. So communication industry is going to boom like anything. So the next 3 or 4 years. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. I have observed from many institutions that there is a time that when electronics and communication was at number one, but now people don't like to take admissions in electronics and communication engineering. But if you come outside of India, in my university, let me tell you, computer science and electronics, they are like the number one admissions in the world. Number one admissions. After that, we have the admissions into mechanical, but even the management sector, they are at the lowest. Okay, but in India, it is different story. We have the management institute as having the number one admissions, but engineering is having the low admissions. That's a different scenario. But if you come outside, communication engineering and computer science, they are like a fusion for anything. So we can have the technical vendors and even the chip vendors, even like ARM, Snapdragon, even Intel is also doing a huge power in that. And now we all know that Apple has recently announced with their new iMac Pro, which has been launched 15, 20 days back, which I've seen that in next 2 years, our MacBooks and even our iMacs will not be having Intel processors. Apple wants to make these things as more portable with their own chips. And even let me tell you, maybe this Apple chips will play a crucial role into their smartphones also. So the future is bright. So the positive cycle is that we have technology, services, and evolution. We have tons of subscribers, investments of MNOs, competition, and even the high revenue. Now, some people will ask me one question that, sir, which country is having the highest number of subscribers in the world? And you will all say China. Okay, you will all say China, but let me tell you, Indian market is like equal to China now. Maybe in 3 or 4 months, we will be crossing over the China as the number one market. But still, there's a question in front of you. If you are paying so much of money, India is crazy about the smartphones. What is the quality of service which is provided by the vendors? That's amazing, you can say. Whenever I just pick my call and I just call to my Indian friends that there is an important discussion, in about 10 minutes, I have to say hello, hello, hello. So 3 or 4 times in 1 minute because the connectivity drops like so much. So the rapid growth of mobile services, you can see the subscribers, you can see 0.77 billions to 3.5 billion in 2011, but you can say by 2021 itself, it will be 5.5 billions. And even the 5G launch, which has started from 2019, you can see that by 2025, the 5G adoption will be 14% only. And that's the problem, everybody, that the adoption will take a time because it has to change the infrastructure. So new growth engine, which we are going to discuss after this lecture, will be IoT. And you can see that the IoT connections worldwide, we can even expect that in the near future, if you are working with the smart owl or even you are adding your smart television for internet service provider, it will be like a device. So that is also using the bandwidth. So you can say that in the future home, your laptops or your smartphones will not be using internet. Your television will also be streaming the content online. We all know Netflix, we all know Android TVs and even the Apple TV Plus. So the IoT is leading to important growth, and that is the reason, everybody, that in the future, electronics and communication will be actually known from IoT. Maybe in the near future, everybody, the electronics or communication technology will be replaced from, you can say, smart computing systems. Yes, it will be replaced. So you can say that the consumer base is very high and the IoT is picking up. And for picking up of that IoT, in order to make the devices connected, we actually want to transform the 5G to 6G. The only difference between the transformation, why we need 6G, because the plethora of devices and the plethora of systems that are getting connected, they require huge bandwidth. So the standard you can see from 0G, we have PTT, MTS, 1G, we have the cellular technology, 2G became digital. So you can say that 0G and 1G, they were analog, 2G became digital with GSM, 3G we have CDM and UMTS, but now we are using 4G. But in 4G, we only have VoLT that is only provided by Reliance Jio right now. But if you come outside, you will be stunned to know that we have pure LTE, or you can say LTE advanced. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to give you one information, you will be stunned to note. You can see, I'm right now in my apartment, and if you can see over here, my all antennas are full, even though my room is in the basement. Yes, I live on the first floor behind the top story. And you will be stunned to note that every month, I just pay as per, before I should tell you the, you can say the money, I would like to inform you that every day I'm using 4G and my speed is around, you can say 7 to 8 Mbps. 7 to 8 Mbps. Even though I'm in my apartment, I still can enjoy 4 to 6 Mbps. Which means if I want to download a YouTube video, if I want to stream a 4K video, there will be no problem on my iPad. Okay, and I'm having daily of 10 GB, daily 10 GB I'm getting. Okay, and every day I can do unlimited SMS, unlimited local call, unlimited national call, and for international call, I'm given 50 minutes. And you will be stunned, everybody, that for this type of service, I'm just giving 350 rupees as per Indian currency. Stunned? And that's a fact. Even if you come outside, the telecommunication is very cheap, very, very cheap. So you can say, now let us start off evolution of 6G standards, which will start the lecture now. So you can say in 2019, let's start from 6G because the evolution is actually started from 2019. You can see we have the eMBB, which is having 275 Gbps. And the key features are NR MIMO because only in the near future, we have to improve the MIMO to RANs. So we have reduced TTI, which means the SNR ratio is coming down. And we have the phase 2, which is starting from 2020, which is known as a smart factory, the most important support for smart factories, connected cars. Yes, exactly, because in CS 2020, you've seen that connected cars is one of the hottest area. And we have to perform performance enhancement in terms of positioning, mobility enhancement, and power saving. But in the near future, everybody, 6G will solve the problem of your power and even enhanced MIMO also. So this is the phase of 2021 that will actually lay the foundation for 6G because after that, the research has to come next year. That is the ultra latest research that I'm going to tell you. So the additional services that we require is broadcasting, that is streaming, new features SI on waveform, which is greater than 52.6 gigahertz. And we have enhanced features in terms of RAN, and the system will have network analytics, which means the power of artificial intelligence and deep learning. Now you imagine, everybody, that without AI, you can't think of the future communications. That will be there. So mega trends towards 6G, you can see zero perceived latency. Maybe in the near future, everybody, even though when I was doing my PhD, my guide told me that you want to do your PhD into sensor communication. It is very important, but my focus was onto energy. But my guide told me energy is okay, but first of all, give me the improvement in latency. So maybe in the near future with 6G, maybe you will say that latency word and the overhead that are gone, I can say. So you can say that everything will get connected at 2030 and 40% of the world will be having machine to machine interface. Like you have seen in the movies called Star Wars or Love Story 2050, like Back to the Future, all these machines will get connected where the machines will talk to machines. We have the super precision positioning with robotics and drones. because in the near future, as you can see today, that almost the drones project that are coming in remote areas, they are actually known as fog drones, fog computing oriented drones, and they are working on autonomous technology. And you can see we have various devices that today we have this just simple smartphones that are actually coming to wearables, but in the near future we have the holographs. We have the smart and bendable displays, the ultra visible displays that require high end connectivity, and that's the reason everybody that this type of technology requires 6G. So potential of applications as well as the precision, they actually require the next generation that is called 6G. So moving towards 6G, you can see we have the super massive connectivity and super reliable and low latency communication in terms of 100 gigabytes per second. Yes, everybody, the 6G will be actually giving you minimum 100 Gbps, smart buildings, voice, augmented reality, 3D, but I will be discussing more. So the most important thing it will be the mix of two things: super high precision positioning, which means every smartphone will be having more precision towards location. But now you can see that iPhone is coming with iOS 14. Now your apps will not have accurate positioning, but it will also have like a prediction, like a more area over there, so that location privacy problems will be gone. And even the most important will be AI powered communication. And that's the reason, everybody, that 6G, what I love about 6G is the interference, is the integration of AI. Because I'm a professor of AI, I see lots of possibilities in the near future. So you can see over here, now what is 6G? The motivation towards 6G, you can see from 1G to 5G, we are passing through UMTS, and each generation of technology is trying to meet the needs of operators as well as final consumers. But in the near future, everybody, we need to have data-centric and automation processes, like automation drones, high-end high-end predictive analysis, and smart farms, healthcare. So for that, we require a new generation of wireless. So you can say over here by 2020, we will have 1 to 10 Gbps, but 6G will be a fully digital and connected world. You can see smart cars, smart healthcare, drones, augmented reality, and cyber physical systems. And that's the reason for these type of applications, you need to go from 2025 to 2030. And so you can say that the future of mankind actually starts from 2025. And you will be stunned to note, everybody, I don't know whether you will agree with me or not, but this word of pandemic has created a huge setback and a barrier for all of us. Because if this pandemic has not happened, maybe we have seen a strong research in 6G from this year itself. But still, it's a problem. So you can say the motivation towards 6G, we consider potential applications in which we can have the high improvements towards throughput, latency, and connectivity. We are talking of massive scalability and flexibility, and we have huge use cases, and we can do survey of new emerging technologies in terms of new spectrum, disruptive technologies, cell-less network because it will be based on AI, artificial intelligence, energy efficiency, and complete virtualization. Maybe in the near future, everybody, maybe I'm saying you don't need to install your apps or even the operating system onto your chips, because your chips will be AI enabled and they will be connected to the cloud, and your entire data will be actually based on fog computing and edge computing. So let us talk of some of the technologies and innovations that are actually happening. This is known as disruptive communication technology, because I've already told you that the 6G will actually lay the foundation not of gigahertz, but it will be in terahertz. So the frequency bands will be from 100 gigahertz and 1 terahertz, which means you can say bring the extreme possibility challenges for high frequency communications. And huge data rates will means that we have to have lots of chunks in terms of 200 gigahertz of spectrum. But the most important thing will be that we will have less propagation loss, and we have the less antenna arrays. And visible light communication, because the frequency bands will be between 430 gigahertz to 770 terahertz. Now you can see that what you can say improvement will be there in terms of radio signal modulation, and more research will be required. But the only thing that we require is right now is the IEEE 802.15.7. This is the only standard that is actually there that is working for terahertz. Even I have published one paper on optic, which is actually known as the beta testing for terahertz communication. That paper has gone viral, I can say, with more than 48 citations. So you can say that this standard needs more improvements. And you can say that it will be full duplex communication, and we have the continuous downlink as well as the uplink acknowledgements, which increase multiplexing and system throughput. So that's the reason, everybody, that like today we only enjoy like you can say half duplex, but in the future communications it will be full duplex communication, and that will be based on OBB channel estimation, the most important area to do the research. And you can say in terms of channel capacity, we have to estimate the parameters in terms of angle of sight, angle of you can say AOD, and gain of the each path, which means that poor scattering will be gone, and we have the sparse compressed sensing. So in terms of virtualization, we can have the software defined networking, which means a huge programmability will be there. And because it is agile and responsive, so we can have the vendor neutral network. So which means, everybody, that if you are walking from one station to another station, you don't have to wait for the network to come. It will be automatically allocating the spectrum to your phone. Suppose, because let me tell you, in the future, nobody listens to me right now, that some people say, sir, we want to do research into sensors, ad hoc networks, or maybe wireless communication, but we ignore one area that is actually required to do the research. That's known as cognitive radio networks. How we can make the secondary users to add into primary users, and how the primary users can able to make the spectrum better and better. So if you are working into wireless communication, AI oriented techniques for spectrum allocation of the users between primary and secondary, this is the hottest area to do the research. So in terms of network architectures, we have lots of backhaul capacity, and terahertz and VLC deployments will happen. And you can say still we have to wait, because what will happen, it is unknown. So we have to take the fiberless infrastructure. And you can say that this 6G will introduce new challenges and opportunities. So you can say the learning we can have in terms of AI, we will have supervised as well as unsupervised learning, which means that the spectrum will first of all sense the area, because in the near future, we will not have RF communication, we will have laser communication. Yes, everybody, it will be laser orientation, and Taiwan is actually working on that. So we have the knowledge sharing and learning, which means at 5G, we have the massive bandwidth and spatial level of degrees and freedom. But in 6G, we will have the shared learning, which means the area will be actually learned by the antenna, and they just know that at what time the spectrum more requires, they can share the spectrum, at what time the spectrum is okay, so we can give the spectrum to other cognitive users. So that's the reason, everybody, that with the power of transfer learning and AI, we will actually manage the spectrum like anything. So these are the challenges. The most important thing will be energy versus high deployment or MIMO. And the most important thing will be circuit design, high propagation loss, and need for reliable frequency mapping. So these are some of the challenges that you have to work, but still we can say that in the coming future, because still the future is unknown, by 2025 it will start. So maybe the challenges will be over. So these are some of the real-time use cases that I would like to inform all of you. You can see that in next year, if everything goes well, we will have Tokyo Olympics 2021, which is because of pandemic has been cancelled this year. So imagine, everybody, it's a huge stadium, and track and field events are going on. So maybe one person is streaming live, one person is watching 4K video, one person is sharing the photos, one person is live on Instagram, one is doing some video call on WhatsApp. So you can see that we require massive scale communication. So that is the reason, everybody, we have to improve the spectrum. So maybe next year we will have not 6G, not even 5G, but it will be like 5.75G. More improved. Virtual reality, e-health, tactile internet, and that is what I was talking to you, that I was traveling in the bullet train and I was having high-speed mobility, industry 4.0, smart cities, holographic projections, and above all, autonomous driving. So you will all agree with me, for these type of applications, you need to have the high-end internet, you need to have a very high speed of bandwidth in which overhead and latency should be almost zero. Or I can say 10 raised to power minus 9, I can say. So in terms of indoor coverage, you can say that 80% of the mobile traffic is generated indoor, and 5G cannot penetrate solid materials. You can see that. So 5G identification through femtocells provides scalability issues and high deployment, but the 6G will target the cost-aware indoor connectivity, which means more you go inside, or if you are inside, or you are in the basement of any building, the connectivity will never be turned off. So massive scale communications, you can see the most important thing you can see. 5G networks are designed to support almost, I can say, 1 crore connections per kilometer square. But if you talk 6G, ladies and gentlemen, you will be surprised to know that less than 500 billion connections can be supported in just 1 kilometer. Now imagine massive scale communication. Actually, it is designed for massive scale communication that is actually required for 6G, because in the near future, if you're talking of smart cities, at least smart transportation, you require vehicular to infrastructure, vehicular to relay infrastructure, vehicular to pedestrian infrastructure. So all these type of connectivity is required. So e-health services, you can require high cost and low lack of real-time tactile environment. And you can see that 6G will enhance the potential with edge computing, artificial intelligence, and virtualization. Now imagine 5G will give, and imagine how 6G will change you. Industry 4.0, this is the area where I'm doing my research. And if the organizers of today want to have the lecture of mine on Industry 4.0 and future robotics, they are most welcome and they can be in touch with me. So you can see that in the near future, as you can see in today's pandemic, the world is shut down. Industries are done and workers are gone, but we still want to keep the industries functional, which means that we have to integrate AI in terms of cyber physical systems, and those cyber physical systems should be completely autonomous. And you will be stunned to note, everybody, that even Air Asia or even the Boeing company, they are actually making the complete aircraft wings and even the engine assembly with just robotics with one person on the assembly line. Because these robotics have high scale communication and they are fully connected. They don't turn out, they are 24/7. Smart city, of course, we can have. So we can have the ultra long battery lifetime, and even we can have low cost and low energy based sensors. So if you're talking of smart city, wireless communication and smart sensors, and even the applications towards agriculture, smart bridges, infrastructure maintenance, pedestrian detection, crime detection, face detection, these are all high potentials. And this is what you can agree with me: holographic telepresence and autonomous vehicles. So the top research areas that I would like to aware all of you will be the wireless connectivity, the unmanned process. We require devices and circuit technology because the 6G technology is basically based on terahertz communication. So we require more better mobile chips in the near future. So in the future, maybe you can say that Apple, Nvidia, or maybe Snapdragon, these companies will take over rather than Intel, because I don't see much future of Intel in terms of mobile computing. We require distributed computing in terms of mobile edge, and we require services and applications. So if you talk of me that, sir, what are you doing your research in 6G? I am a man of AI. So actually I am doing my research in the world of smart cities and how we can secure the smart city network and even the smart healthcare with blockchain technology as a security service. And even I am doing my research with industry, but I'm very sorry, I cannot declare the name of the industry. We are also working in order to improve the spectrum so that we can have low latency and high massive scale communication. That is what I'm doing my research, and soon the paper will be out. So thank you so much for this, 6G. And before I start with my next lecture, because I'm having some starvation right now, so we will just take a break for 5 minutes, and you're all welcome to ask the question. So meanwhile, if you're on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram with my name Anand Nayyar, and here is my official email. And if you are interested to do a WhatsApp to me, or if you want to stay connected with me, here is my WhatsApp number. So we will start after 5 minutes. Excuse me, sir?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, we will
Yes,
start
sir.
after 5 minutes.
Yes, okay, sir.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if they have any questions, sir, you can please tell me.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Now the house is open for...
Sir, one question by Kamlesh Kahar, sir, ki how we are going to tackle the hazardous effects caused by mobile radiation, which I think is going to increase in 5G and 6G.
Sir, first of all, I would like to inform this person that 5G and 6G, they will not be having any hazardance towards radiation as well as other types of technology, because actually it is designed that it should not have any impact of radiation on the human health. So many people even ask me that, sir, what about the body sensors? What about wireless body area networks? So let me tell you, all the sensors that are connected to the human body and even the radio spectrum in terms of antennas for 5G and 6G, they will not be dangerous in even 1% for the human health. That's all. No health issues and no problem with the environment and no problem with the ecosystem of the nothing else.
Hello, sir. One question is there. Can I ask?
Sir, can you first of all be away from the mic so that I can understand properly? No problem. I will answer the question. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Sir, I will ask that question, sir.
Sir, please ask the question.
Sir, actually, the question is that sir is told that 6G is digital area required.
Yes.
So, in that 6G, if digital area required, then how do you balance that the environment and all these things?
Actually, sir, that's a good question for you, because actually you can see that what is the problem with 5G, what is the problem with 5G and 6G, that we have to increase the number of antennas. Because what is the problem with 5G is that the no doubt it will increase the bandwidth, it can reduce the overhead, it can reduce the latency. But in terms of infrastructure, we have to add more antennas. So more antennas means that we have to go for better city planning. And that is the reason that most of the cities in India, they will not be the early adapters for 5G and 6G. So yes, it can disrupt the normal working, like we must have to hire some houses as a rental part by the Airtel and other companies in the future to place their antennas, but it will not cause any impact on the health. That is what it is confirmed.
Actually, sir, I am also working with that 5G antenna. My PhD is with that, the design of antennas.
Wow, wow.
So that's why I know that 5G is, we can design that antenna, but practically whenever we go for measurement of this 5G antenna, it is very difficult because
Yes.
that measurement facility is not available.
If you really want to do your research, you must collaborate with some Taiwan and even some Korean universities where they actually have this type of labs, because these type of communication labs can only be you can say abridged with Huawei or either Nokia based companies. So very few labs are there. And even I know some professors of France, and if you are interested, I can give you their contacts, so you can contact them via email that this is your research, but you have to prove yourself that this is the work that I have done and this is the problem that I have done. So they will be interested, and maybe they will invite you. So that is what I would like to say, because in India, this type of research is not possible without strong grants, etc.
Because already I done using up to the 30 gigahertz antenna I design.
Yeah.
But more
It
than
is
30
okay.
gigahertz.
But for the real time, you have to work more hard, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
With real-time scenario is not possible in India, sir.
No.
That
Real
is
time
the-
scenario, sir, it is not possible. No, it is not possible. Even some people ask me that, sir, India is going to make flying car and even autonomous vehicle. I also tell them that, okay, sir, you are making the flying car. That, like, sometimes it's even a controversial question. Maybe you can buy a 4K television or maybe a 8K television today. But even if you buy a 8K television or 4K television, how many channels will you watch in 4K? The question is the content. So even if you are, you can say that you are buying a 4K television and still you are watching a full HD content, which means that you are actually wasting the money. So similarly, even if you have a 5G phone, but you are still using the 3G or 4G, what is the fun of having the 5G? So still we have to work more hard in the near future that the spectrum as well as application areas can increase, and you can have better quality of high frequency as well as the better bandwidth and massive scale communication. That is what we can see.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, one question from my end, sir. Sir, how we can
Yes.
compromise with the MIMO techniques and as well as multiplexing for the allocation of bandwidth when we are moving to the 6G communication?
Based on artificial intelligence, madam, because in the 6G communication, if you are moving from one antenna cell, because over there in 6G, you will not be using like this type of cellular based communication network. Actually, they will be femto cells. So even that will be having the advanced MIMO communication. So if you're moving from one spectrum to another, they will actually sense the network and they will immediately provide you the best network over there. So that is the reason, madam, that many people, they don't agree with me that why don't they do a research in cognitive radio networks and even the massive scale MIMO. That is what the research is required, actually.
One more question, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
how we can make it a classification? I mean, like differentiation between the satellite and 6G. I mean, there may be any rapport of interaction with the 6G and satellite with the
Madam,
usage of
uh,
frequencies.
Madam, actually, this is a question that even I asked to some of the experts in Huawei and even to Nokia. But actually, as I have already told you that in my presentation, as you have seen, that even after artificial intelligence, it was a big question mark because right now the 6G is under the massive scale of research. Right now, even the standardized protocols and even the standardized architecture, it is not yet released. Maybe, but I'm sorry, I'm leaking one information right now. Maybe I can say that I will not take the name of the company. They are actually telling that maybe by 2024, late 2024 in quarter four, they will release some of the specification of a 6G antenna. So what will be the antenna? What will be the massive scale? That will be there. But the most important thing will be that the 6G antenna will be having the close link and uplink and downlink with the satellites. So which means the higher precision and accuracy will be possible, but they will be like a low, medium orbit satellites. But right now it is, you can say it is not confirmed.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But still we have to wait for this answer. Still we have to wait.
Sir, there is one question from Shruti Borikar. You said that we need digital area for
Sir,
6G.
sir, echo voice, please. Sorry, I can't understand.
Yes, sir. So
Can
the
you type
question
the
is,
question? Can you type the question?
yes, sir. I can type it in the chat box.
Chat box, yeah. Yeah, after that I will start the IoT lecture.
Exactly. Okay, sir. Okay.
Please mute the mic, please. I have already answered this question. Can we start, Dr. Dilip?
Yes, 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 sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you look into this matter, please? Excuse me, sir.
Hello, sir. Sir, please unmute your mic. Sir, I have muted all. Please unmute yourself, sir. Hello.
Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. So I welcome ladies and gentlemen to the second session of today's webinar. It will be on Internet of Things, and as I'm a person of AI and IoT, I'm working hardly into IoT also. And I will be also telling you some of the innovations and inventions that I have done. And even you will be stunned to see what innovation that I am doing and what we have done in our lab. So I will be also telling you one of the innovation that I have already submitted as a US patent at the end of this presentation. So I all know that already I know that most of the people, they know about IoT, but I will be covering some of the hidden and deep facts of IoT along with some case studies. So IoT, which is known as Internet of Things, it is just like a tip of iceberg, but it is regarding as a plethora of technologies that are actually enabling IoT to reach us. IoT is basically the front end, but we require lots of technologies at the back end and in the middle also in order to enable this type of facilitation of this type of technology to reach us. So latest news and happenings that are happening in the world of IoT. So here it is in front of you. You can see the HPE is opening up IoT Experience Center in Bangalore, which is even with Hewlett Packard. And even you can say that with this type of IoT technology, you can see that lots of companies from China and even from India, USA, they are also shifting to India and even to Vietnam. And even recently, Bosch company has shifted to Vietnam, which is one of the best sensor company and IoT company in the world. So new research has easily shown that some LoRaWAN devices are easily hacked, but what we have designed, I will be telling you, even it is highly, highly secure. And 5G will drive edge computing and IoT in India in 2020. And even, sir, please mute your mics, please. And even University of Pittsburgh researchers are even exploring lag-free connections in massive IoT devices. That will be only possible via LoRaWAN. So ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, if you talk of the near future and the IoT devices, which is called device to device communication with the power of AI, you have to follow a new communication standard that is known as LoRaWAN. So even the IoT cellular devices shipments will approach up to 350 millions per year by 2025, with strong Chinese growth is noted. And even the global IoT chip market is likely to grow about $38.61 billion by the end of this decade. This is one of the best news that you can cover. And even you will be surprised to note that IoT is actually booming towards drones also. And we can see that this year itself, the 50% increase in drones technology has been increased. Because why? Because cities are under lockdown. And if the authorities want to monitor the entire city, they are only using drones to monitor. And we have the IoT related services revenue in APAC that can hit $96 billion by 2023. So let us start with the discussion on the top 10 technologies of, you can say, in the next decade, but I have given you the list of the top 30 technologies. But let us start with the first technology. As you can see in the word, we are all moving towards smart and intelligent connected world. So in order to maintain that connected world, in order to have intelligent technical systems based communication, where electronics, communication, machine learning, they all work together, we have to use the power of artificial intelligence. And today, ladies and gentlemen, you can't think anything without artificial intelligence, because our phones, like latest phones like iPhone 12 and even Nexus 4A and even Nexus 5 and even other phones that are coming, and even you can say that Huawei phones that are using cameras, they are all AI enabled today. So AI is one of the #1 technology for the decade. Number two bit, of course, that we are discussing right now is known as smart sensors, IoT, and industrial IoT with the power of Industry 4.0 and cyber physical systems. Now we have even seen that lots of things are happening on mobile media as well as social networks and even the live streamings. So that has become the #3 technology in the decade. And #4 technology that you can see in the screen right now will be the blockchain technology, because blockchain technology is one of the technology that is adapted in order to perform security. Because today even I'm working that in order to adapt security and in order to perform end-to-end communication, you need to adapt blockchain in terms of various sectors like retail sector, education, gaming sector, government sector, defense sector, because once it is there on the block, it cannot be easy to temper. So frauds are eliminated. So we have big data. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that even if you want to adopt AI in healthcare or AI in communications or any other thing, the most important foundation stone is big data. We have automation because in future we have autonomous drones, autonomous drivings, and even autonomous factories that is known as smart factories or super factories, smart cities where everything works automatically. We require automation. And even let me tell you, there is also one technology that is actually hidden, but it is coming like anything. It is also known as software robotics, called robotic process automation. Very important area to research. So we have cobotics in terms of drones, industrial robots. So in the future, if many people ask me one question, that is AI or robotics will take over the jobs, I say no. AI and robotics will not take over the job, but they will make our job easy because they will work for you. Suppose you're doing a complex operation and you can do one thing in a very easy manner, but you are not good into performing of repetitive tasks. So these type of cobotics will be enabling you to perform repetitive tasks. So we have mobile technologies. We all know smartphones, and we all know what is improvement going on in terms of standards, services, and even the 6G. And we have cloud computing because in the future we have hyper clouds, we have edge computing, and even you can say the most important thing that can hit the market in the cloud this year, that will be hybrid clouds. So IoT is not all about technology. The industry wants the energy bills. And that is what we can say, that in order to boost up the technology, in order to take everything to the next level, we have to take the industry to the next level. For that, IoT is known as the foundation stone in order to improvise, or you can say hypervise the industry to the next level. So let's talk of the IoT convergence. So IoT consists of two words. One is known as IT, which is known as information technology, and second is called automation. So which means industrial automation. Now, if you combine industrial automation with information technology, you can see that we have gone through a massive change. In 1970s, we have mainframes. In 1980s, we have started internet with fiber optics and TCP/IP based protocols. In 2000, we started with integrated architectures, but 2010s, we have got SCADA, ERP, PLCs, IO, but in 2020 plus, we have applications, cloud computing, connectivity, and even smart cyber physical systems. So in order to transform the industrial automation and in order to integrate the bridge towards the various technologies, we have to work on this 2020 plus different modules, which is having seamless integration, whether it is horizontal or whether it is vertical. So this is the data that I'm giving to you right now. So as per IoT data analytics, you can see that the most important global share of IoT projects, the number one is smart city. But you can see that as the world is going towards pandemic situation, and we have to change the projects and we have to improve the lifestyle of the human beings. So maybe the next year, the number one sector will become the smart healthcare. So the smart cities, connected industries with the power of cyber physical systems, connected buildings, connected cars, and even smart energy, the smart grid, most important area, everybody, because in the future, we will not have these petrol or diesel vehicles. We will have electric vehicles, or you can say the green vehicles. For that, you need to have the charging stations, and those charging stations will have the backhaul from smart grids. So we have connected health, smart supply chain, agriculture, and smart retail sector. And maybe in the near future, we can say Japan has already started. You just have to go to the vending machine. You can have the pizza. You can even deposit the money. You can do anything almost autonomously. So even in Dubai, we can see, even in Singapore, we can say that some shopping centers are coming where there is no worker is working. So everything is using the, you can say, high-end sensors, and even with RFID technology, and even with the futuristic industrial IoT. So the global 10, you can say, IoT application areas for 2020 will be industrial, mobility, energy, retail, cities, healthcare, supply chain, and this will be the top 20 sectors, top 10 sectors as per me that should be researched out, and these are the global share because the trend is actually increasing with manufacturing and especially with transportation. So if you ask me one question that, sir, where we should do our research in IoT, I always tell all of you that please start your research on Industry 4.0, especially cyber physical systems, and then you can work on smart healthcare, autonomous vehicles, and even the most important is smart buildings and smart grids. So these are the most important areas that you can do your research in the world of IoT. So the number of identified IoT platforms by industry, you can see in terms of home, consumer IoT, we have home, mobility, lifestyle, and health. But in terms of business IoT, we have energy, mobility, smart cities, health, agriculture, telecom, finance, enterprises, and other businesses. So in the future, everybody, that if you combine IoT with blockchain and even with power of deep learning and even with smart and connected sensors and intelligent communication enabled via 5G, you are actually transforming a new hybrid world that will become Internet of Everything. So the year of IoT in review, you can see that January 2019, the Google search trend was graphing towards IoT. We have Amazon announcing the plans for hyperconnectivity. Microsoft is even doing a strong role in terms of IoT signals. We have Samsara company, which is also receiving the fund of $300 million. Microsoft again announcing lots of IoT platforms, and even AWS and Google Cloud are also rounding lots of platforms with regard to IoT. And even we have Siemens, which is actually making lots of environmental priority. So right now, if you talk of number one company that is actually known as the early adopter for IoT, which is actually working towards hyper connectivity for industries and even for smart connected future, that is actually Siemens. And even Siemens factories are actually getting autonomous. I will be telling you in the coming slides. So Internet of Things, you can see the main category that comes to in front of you. You can see this is the area for research: retail sector, healthcare, insurance, connected cars, buildings and living, smart cities and energy, natural resources, and most important, everybody, Industry 4.0. Because let me tell you, industries have huge demands. Industries have lots of hybrid and futuristic problems to be solved. So for that, you have to do the fusion of lots of technologies. Lots of, I can say. So industrial IoT is one of the coolest sector that you have to do your research. So this is the most important data that I would like to share in front of you, and that's a motivation for me also when I do my lectures on IoT. You can see that in 2003, the world population was 6.3 billions. And even the connected devices were 500 millions. But now if you talk of 2020, which means on 2003, only you can say out of one individual, we can have 0.08 devices that are connected. But if you see of 2020, today we have smart televisions, smart security systems. We are having iPads, iPhones, smartphones, and even smart gadgets into our homes like Alexa, Google Home. Even we use Siri. So all these devices, they are actually connected to the internet. You can see that the world population is 7.6 billion and the connected devices has become 50 billions. Or I can say even they can touch 77 to 80 billions by the end of this year. So per person, you will be having about 7 devices that are actually connected. So data produced by IoT devices, you can see a fully instrumental car, fully instrumented, which means autonomous car, they require 25 GB per hour. Now imagine everybody that even if you are in India and you want to go for a 3 or 4 kilometers and you want to drive, now imagine how much connectivity we require and how much smart connectivity we require. 51,200 GB per hour, that is only by a fully instrumented jet engine. Now imagine if we can go for flying cars and the flying drones. Imagine if we have the cluster of drones that are performing a particular task with the power of swarm intelligence. 500 GB per day, a single turbine compressor blade. You can see a data wind farm, smart wind farm, which is even my dream also, that how we can have the smart wind farms, the large windmill farms that can use hybrid energies, and we can power up the smart grids, and even we can power the smart city even. 15,000 data, 150,000 data points are required. 500 million data readings per day, and 40% of data by 2020 is only produced by sensors. And you will be surprised to know, everybody, that that the data that has not been even produced in 5,000 years, that has been produced in 5 years. And even we can expect by 2025 the data that has not been even generated in the known mankind future of past, I can say, that is generated in even 2 years. So the data is massive data. So information has gone wild. So that is the reason, everybody, that we require Internet of Things to be doing lots of new technology, or I can say massive scaling in terms of data. So you can say gone were the days when we have only megabyte or gigabyte or petabyte. But if we talk of smart sensors, industrial IoT, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, mobile communications, and future massive scale communications, we have to work towards zettabyte, yottabyte, and brontabyte. So imagine, everybody, we have gone beyond the decimal system. That data will be massive. So the Internet of Things wave is actually making trillion sensor values. And even you can say, what is IoT? It is basically known as intelligent connectivity between the human and the things, so that we can have improvement towards better information, exchange the value that can provide better smart living. So IoT is actually designed to make the life efficient and better and make our life connected and smart. So IoT, which means from connecting devices to human value, you can have the device connection using IoT devices and IoT connectivity, and we have embedded intelligence, which means system on the chip, SoCs, or in the future, we can have AI on the chip, AIOC. Okay, so we have the data sensing using data capturing logs, communication in terms of edge, cloud, and fog computing, data analytics using big data and deep learning with power of data science, value towards the data in terms of API, and in the last, we have the precision values and the precision decisions for the human beings. So these 9 values are actually powering and connecting the devices to the human values. So the global sector, IoT market sector in the year by 2020, you can see that we can have the sector by to achieve $50 billion. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, 2020 to 2024, these 4 years are very crucial, because maybe this industry can even touch other sectors, even they can make other sectors to $1 trillion. Maybe this IoT sector or IoE sector can even touch 17 to 18 trillion dollars by 2025. So gone were the days when we used to have these type of technology like the outdated camera tapes, VHS tapes, and these cassettes. Everything has been transformed with IoT. So the 3 tsunamis of internet that is actually making as a backbone for IoT communication is the fixed internet, we have the mobile internet, and we have industrial IoT. So this IoT, mobile internet, and even the fixed internet, they are actually booming and taking the internet to us. And if you have the internet to us, we are actually connecting the devices that is actually making the world as a smart living way. So you can see that the diffusion of innovation, the Internet of Things, an explosion of connected possibility. Now imagine everybody, we started from computers only, and you can see that by 2020 itself, 50 billion devices are connected. You can see only that in 2019, only 42.1 devices were there, but it has jumped to double. Or you can say in the next 2 or 3 years, we can have 80 to 1 trillion devices that are actually connected because sensors are increasing. So IoT is actually having lots of areas in terms of smart cities, surveillance, building management, manufacturing, healthcare, retail, connected cars, communication, many things. So pivotal moments in IoT market evolution, you can see in 2014, it is known as year of counting things. 2015, it is known as the year of IoT platform. 2017, the year of consumer consolidation. 2019, the year which we have lots of attacks, but in 2020, the new IoT revolution that is known as Internet of Everything. So ladies and gentlemen, you can say that IoT is known as the foundation and the stepping stone in order to take the mankind to the next future. So what is IoT? This is the most important definition. It is basically known as intelligent connectivity where physical devices, you can say even smart lights, you can say smart grids, smart transportation system, which is actually performing massive gains in terms of efficiency, business growth, and high quality of life. So the building blocks of IoT, most important is application and user interaction. Today, we all want to have sensors. Like even my friend is having cold storage, and he used to give me a problem that I want to monitor the temperature. And after that, I gave a project to him that let's have a smart cold storage for you. So the most important thing is that I have designed an app for him that he can monitor the temperature, and even he can set the temperature, and he can command the thermostats right from the sitting of his home. So application and user interaction is the most important. Second, it is all backed by cloud computing, professional and advanced network connectivity in terms of Zigbee, 5G, and 6G, gateway, because we require LoRaWANs, and physical objects and devices in terms of smart sensors. So these 5 things are actually required in order to build IoT. So in terms of system and smart systems, we have a combination of sensors, connectivity, people, and processes. So these are the most important sensors that you can see right now in terms of vision, acceleration, leaks, flow, chemical and gas, humidity, temperature, position, any other things. So today, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you really want to make a IoT project, don't go for simulators, because no doubt we have simulators, but IoT is actually practical, in which you must learn that how you can calibrate the sensor with the embedded systems. You can take a Arduino, you can add some sensors, and you can add a ESP8266 module, and you can get the values. After that, you can add some data science and prediction values in order to perform deep learning. But the sensor projects are very, very important. So many companies like Texas Instruments, LabVIEW, even Bosch. So these companies are one of the top heads where you can buy the sensors and you can do that. Even ready to made IoT sensors are also available. So you can do the research, whether you want to buy modes, whether you want to buy LoRaWAN kits, whether you want to buy simple sensors, whether you can want to buy advanced smart city sensors. Even Libanium is a company that is doing wonder in terms of smart city based connectivity. So these things are actually fueling the way that how we think and how we can design the projects. And bit, of course, the connectivity. There was a time when we only used to have Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, but now we are scaling it to LoRaWAN. We are scaling to Zigbee. We are scaling to Z-wave communication. So these type of things are actually making the IoT into massive scale. And this is the comparison with IoT of various communication technologies. But I openly say right now that in the near future, maybe because my team has stopped working with the Bluetooth and Zigbee and Wi-Fi's, we are only taking LoRaWAN. So LoRa means long range, and LoRaWAN is a protocol that is actually used to communicate with tons of devices, and you just need one gateway to connect to all the devices, and that gateway is connected to the internet. So with this, you can say we can have high efficiency, low power, massive connectivity, and even you can say lots of throughput in terms of connectivity, and you can have massive scale of data that is coming, because we don't say that in the near future data will be on the rest, data will be in the motion. So for that, you need to empower fog computing, the cloud computing to be empowered with edge computing. So IoT will give you many things. And last but not the least, we have people and processes. But in the last, I will be telling you what I have designed. So we have analytics and APIs, remote monitoring, supply chain management, security, and other projects like that. So let us talk of some of the components, because I have already explained to you many components. So we have the things. Things means anything. Today, if you have a tube light and you add a sensor through which you can communicate and you can change the color of the tube light with a smartphone, that is even called a sensor or an actuator. So even your robotics are even the sensors and actuators that are actually working. So the sensors, the connectivity, which means Wi-Fi, Zigbee, or even LoRaWAN, data, because the sensors are giving the data at a regular intervals, and we require analytics. What is to be done? So these four areas are actually known as the foundation stones, and actually they are comprised and giving the value to IoT. So why IoT is at the inflection point? Because hardware is cheap, connectivity is pervasive, very easy development, because at one time I used to design my projects with Arduino. I have to just code with 10 to 20 lines. But now with the power of advanced Angular and even JavaScript based techniques or programming languages, even I'm using Python today. So you can say that I can program a temperature and other 5 or 6 sensors with LoRaWAN with just 7 to 8 lines of code maximum. So you can say that lots of law network effects are also happening. So IoT is actually improving, and it is going towards a massive scale. So now the most important thing is the importance of getting the things connected and the need to get the things connected. So the most important thing is I need to maintain the quality of goods. Am I healthy? Who is the intruder? When is my next bus? Can I reduce my electricity bills? And question is, where can I park? Now, these are the, you can say, 6 questions in front of you, everybody. Now, can you solve these problems with IoT? We can all say that even today, let me tell you, if you, even I'm having a patent with that, I'm having a smart shopping cart. And suppose that shopping cart, you just put 1 eggs and you just put some chili, but you forget the sauce. The shopping cart will talk to you that maybe you want to make an omelette, you forget to have the sauce. Which means with the smart cart and with computer vision, you can have the intelligence things that what is going to be given as a transfer learning to you. We can perform intrusion detection with face detection and anomalies, like all these type of things. So all these problems today were the problems, but now with the IoT, we can solve all these problems. So who can benefit from connected assets? You can see operating environment, other things, maker, and users. So ladies and gentlemen, this is not the future. That is actually a driving thing in order to make you connected and make you smart. And above all, I can say, make you aware for anything. And even they will guide you what is to be done. So understanding IoT maturity phases, you can see we start from monitoring and then we control the devices. We have optimization and data analytics. And last but not the least, we want to have autonomous projects, like in terms of smart grids, smart cities, and other things. Now, how to build your smart city solutions, building your first IoT solution. You can see there are three types of smart cities that you can build. One is called ROI, return on investment driven, carbon driven, and the last one, vanity driven, where the suggestions and deep learning will be actually working. Carbon driven, where actually you are working on smart bins and other things, and return on investment. Sir, please mute the mic. Thank you. I'm getting disturbed. Return of investment driven, which means that how we can make better projects in terms of smart grids. So how to discover and how to build smart cities through the eyes of citizens. This is the most important case study for all of you. You can see there are lots of problems. Flooding happened. No one is handling the garbage. Garbage bins are full. Building is on fire. Buses don't come on time. No parking spaces. We require smart parking assistance. Pollution getting worse. And there is a crime. Even let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, today I was listening to one webinar in drone world, because today is a very big day for India, because we laid the foundation for drones technology. And you will be surprised to know that what they have illustrated, that if you want to transfer a blood group, even from a healthcare center to the hospital, and if you use a car, has emissions. And that car can take up to 15 to 20 minutes depending on the traffic. But if you take a drone, the drone will not go for any pollution, and it can transmit the blood from that healthcare center to the hospital in less than 5 minutes. So in the future, everybody, that maybe the transportation will be only based on drones. And we can solve and we can make this perfect city a living if, with the power of smart IoT technologies. So in the campuses, there are lots of problems in terms of hospitals. We have no lights. Someone is throwing the garbage, no projector, vandalism, fallen trees, pipe leaking. So can we solve these problems with IoT? Yes, we can solve with smart sensors. So you can see this is one of the area that I have illustrated in front of you. It's called smart hospital, remote care system, mobile client devices, buildings, and interconnected clinical information systems. And this is what we require in terms of smart building. And even I'm very happy to inform you that even my university, Dutan University, is actually having smart building. And even I have gone to various companies over here in Vietnam. They're having LDR lights, smart detection, and even they detect that whether the people are there or not, so they can switch off the lights, and they can have the automatic fire and safety alarm systems. So over here in Vietnam, we have seen lots of smart buildings, and projects are improving like anything. So is your building smart? The question is in front of you. And can you make a building smart? This is the project for you. So capacity to hear and respond. This is most important, where these type of activities with smart cities can be monitored. We can have traditional channels from authorities, but with the IoT, we can immediately give the report and authorities can take the actions. And this is called citizen-centric cities, where we have smart tools, data-driven decisions, and we have high end of collaborations, responsiveness, cost effectiveness, accountability, and transparency. So this is the vision for the city of future, where I'm actually working, because I am a person who actually do research on smart cities. And I have also integrated various type of platforms like blockchain and even LoRaWAN based architectures, that how we can facilitate smart sensor based communication in smart cities with the infrastructure monitoring. This is my project that I've done. So we can make the visible, the invisible. So we can sense the city, we can provide the citizens the tool to how to interpret and change the working. And above all, the most important is none of the infrastructure is commercial. We have the open source tools. So we can sense the cities with smart maps. And this is what we can say, that we are building the next smart city applications. And one more important thing, that if you would like to ask me that, sir, we want to do some research into smart cities and the future technologies, what we should do the research, divert your entire attention towards digital twins. Because if the digital twins, you can see, if you explore this technology, maybe I would like to request the coordinator for this webinar again, that if they can have one lecture of mine on digital twin, it would be highly beneficial for all of you. So digital twin is one of the area that you can see, and that is actually going to empower the mankind towards connected future. So I would like to give you the most important value that can be created. So we have the data at the base, and that data will be using with the power of AI and machine learning to be put into information. And then you can apply advanced analytic techniques to perform knowledge, how to answer, and then we can understand that what is happening and why it is happening. And then with the power of AI, human behaviors, and with smart sensor technology, we have complete understanding. Maybe in the near future, everybody, if you implement smart cities and human understanding, and with the power of data science, we actually make the green cities of the future. Because green and sustainable infrastructure, it cannot be only with the human beings. It should be also with the technology only. So it should be also with the human beings also. So this is an example I can provide with that. So I just come to this one now. So Internet of Things value chain, you can see. We have lots of smart modules with the various companies like Intel, Zigbee, and Qualcomm that is working. And I have already told you the smart sensors, many companies like GE, Bosch. Bosch is one of the now the top companies over here in Vietnam. So connectivity can be provided by AT&T, Huawei, and even Vodafone. You can say Samsung, it is also working on connectivity. We have strong platforms of cloud by Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. Software customization can be done. So Accenture is one of the company that is doing some backhaul and smart data center based integrations for that. So we have applications in terms of Honeywell, and we have the customers that can buy and sell the services. So in the future, everybody, can we design a complete autonomous ecosystem where we can buy the shopping without any human beings, which means we just order, and with the power of blockchain and security, we can get the order, and the order is delivered to us without any human beings, which means drones can deliver the autonomous e-commerce application. We can do that. We can even monitor the smart city like a police do the surveillance with the drones. So the future is bright. And this is what we can say, one of the architecture that even I have designed, and even I'm working on that because I'm having lots of research papers on IoT. You can just check my Google Scholar. And even I would like to tell you that I was the first person in the planet that actually designed the own smart Internet of Underwater thing. Before my research paper and before my discovery, there was only one review paper. There was no ready-made prototype. I was the actually person who actually designed the working prototype for that. And even if you talk of IoT, the world's biggest paper in the planet with regard to advancing modern healthcare and Internet of Bio Nano Sensor things, that is actually written by me with IEEE access. So you can see that the latest real-time solutions in terms of IoT, we can have smart homes. And there are lots of YouTube channels where people have done lots of projects in terms of smart home. But my office is actually a smart office. I use Google Home and Siri in order to empower everything. So IoT tracking and monitoring system. In the future, we have the trucks, and we can perform autonomous construction activities also. And connected factories with Industry 4.0 and smart grids. So healthcare market is also very important. And you can see these are some of the real-time solutions that you can see in terms of smart healthcare, because with the power of IoT and machine learning, we can perform clinical trials, we can have drug discovery, even we can provide deep learning neural networks for stage 1 and pre-stage detection of cancer and breast cancer. I have done lots of research papers. You can just go to my Scholar. And this is what the architecture for smart farms. Maybe the farmers today, in the near future, they will not only buy the tractors and harvesters, they will also buy the drones for these smart agriculture monitoring. So this is the driverless car. This is one of the most important innovation that we'll be seeing. And maybe in the near future, the steering wheel will be gone. You just enter the car and you just say, hey car, just take me to this place. And the car will autonomously map the city, understand the traffic, understand the time, and they start understanding the pedestrians, and they start driving, and they take you to the future place. So these are the variables which we all know by Google Fitbit and other things. And now let us talk of the last technology for today, that will be Internet of Everything. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the future. And this is where I'm actually working with the smart cities and blockchain based integration, that how we can transform Internet of Everything oriented architecture for smart cities. This is my actual research I'm doing. So you can say that the only constant thing is change. And you can see we have mobility, cloud computing, Internet of Things, big data. But now we have to add more things in terms of productivity, business models, user experience, security, and regulatory compliance. So these things will actually make the new role of IT. And you can see that by 2020 itself, that Internet of Everything will actually shine. But after 2021 itself, you can say from 2020 after, in 2021, nobody will able to do the research on IoT. Everybody will start the research on Internet of Everything, massive scale of connectivity. So we have intelligent connections. And this industry can even become $14.4 trillion by 2022 itself. That is our projection as per Gartner. And as a scientist, I'm saying you that this is our projection and this can even become faster. You can say that 5 to 7 years back, NVIDIA has told that ray tracing will take 10 years, but now we are having graphics card and even Xbox and PlayStation are launching with ray tracing enablement. So you can say that future is uncertain, but we can say that this data and more massive scale in terms of supply, logistics, consumer experience, they can come early, which means 2021 can be the changing shift. Okay. So I just come to my things now, just where I'm doing my research. So I will just skip over here. So these are the trends in IoT, everybody. So you can see that the machines are talking to the person that if there is any part that is fluctuating. So you can have this type of industry. In the near future, complete iPhone will be not done by the human beings where one person at the display, one person at the embedded system, one person at the sound or other things, one person do the packaging. Machines will be there. And this is where you can see that this type of factories in the future will be 24/7. I pray to God that this type of pandemic never happens because we know the situation, what is happening in Vietnam these days. So if anything happens in the near future, this type of factory situation will be able to do that. So you can see the connected cars, and we have the augmented and virtual reality on which where I'm also working. I'm having HoloLens 2, and even I'm using Oculus Rift from Facebook. So brain computer interface. And this is where we can say factory automation, and this is called cobotics, everybody, where KUKA is one of the company where you can see. And now let me tell you with my innovations, this will be the ending part of the lecture because I'm also highly tired now. So you can see this one is my first innovation, and all the papers are almost into SCA and Scopus journals, and you can see reputed conferences also. So this is my device that I designed, that is BioSen Health 1.0, Internet of Medical Thing, and it can monitor your heartbeat, your blood oxygen, your temperature, and even with 3.0, we are also adding the blockchain technology into this with version 3.0, and the sensor accuracy is 94%. This is where my best paper it is there, Internet of Robotic Things, my own proposed architecture that how we can fuse robotics and IoT and how we can make them a cobotic technology, which you have seen like this in the slide right now. So this is, you can see what I'm proud of with my lab, smart IoT, IoT based underwater monitoring kit. The world's first, I'm saying everybody, the world's first working prototype. You can see this can monitor the underwater, you can say temperature, even the pollution level. And now we are also making our own submarine that we can control using Zigbee and other technologies. And this is my robot that I have designed that is called Interbot 1.0, IoT-based smart environment monitoring robot with accuracy of 95.4%. So you can see the design also, it's a futuristic design. And this is what I have done in terms of agriculture, smart agri IoT, IoT-based smart agriculture monitoring kit. Almost you can see that it is having the accuracy of 98%. One of the best kits that you can see right now. And this is the data glove, everybody, which is actually designed for wearable technology, my own wearable technology, like you can see Fitbit and everything. And even I want to integrate with version 2.0, the heart rate sensor with accuracy of 91.2%. And the cost of development is very low, less than $6. And this is my IoT-based smart home automation system with 100% accuracy. And this is what I would like to inform all of you, but I will show you my slide afterwards. And this is what I would like to aware all of you that this is my invention. And this I also have given to US patent just last month, my own LoRaWAN system. So if you have seen my Google Scholar, you can see this is Internet of Nano Things, the world's first paper, Green IoT, Internet of Drone Things. So if you just search Internet of Drones, I was the first person that actually designed Internet of Drones concept. And this is my book, the world's first book on industrial IoT with Industry 4.0, launched with Springer. And now I'm coming up with more books in terms of cyber physical systems and Internet of Drones. So now the house is open for the questions, everybody. So I would like to take next 10 minutes for your questions. And after that, we can all break off. And I would like to give you my mobile number as well as my WhatsApp, as well as my email. So I hope everybody has enjoyed it.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a question from Aniruddha Vankade.
Yes, I'm coming to the question, sir. I can just take 5 minutes now. Sir, I have to take this call. Just wait.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir, I am back, sir. I would like to take, sir, 2-3 questions. Thank you so much.
Yes, sure, sir. So one question is from
Yeah, there's a
Aniruddha
question from
Vankade.
Ankita. When you say Industry 4.0 and LoRaWAN will be huge breakthrough in near future, can you relate them and give real-time example? Yes, of course, I would like to give you, ma'am, that Industry 4.0 is actually laying the foundation with cyber physical systems. And in order to connect, in order to lay the foundation that we have lots number of sensors, as compared to today, we have to connect every sensor to the internet. But in LoRaWAN, you just have to connect the sensors autonomously and you don't have to provide the internet connectivity. So all these sensors will be just connected to the gateway. Like in the terms of future, we can have these machines working with the sensors, and all these sensors will be in one gateway. And in order to facilitate these type of sensor connectivity, we require LoRaWAN technology. So cyber physical systems and Industry 4.0 based implementation, it is a real-time implementation. You can read my book also. I have proposed my architecture also.
Sir, one from Aniruddha Vankade. So much amount of data is being produced and more will be created. What is the future of storage technology?
Sir, future will be the high-end data centers that we have to require the quantum storage technology, quantum storage. We require that because today the data is in the rest, but in the future data will be in the motion. That's why we require fog computing and edge computing.
Sir, one last question. Uh, that question is from Ardhinatu Kondu. Explain why ICNI-RP 2020 guidelines have adopted effective absorb power density limits instead of SAR limit at higher frequencies. So actually this question
Sir,
is
that
from,
you can give me an email because I'm not able to understand you properly. Please give me an email. So I've already shared you my email. So if you can give me the email, I will answer the question one by one on the emails, please. Thank you so much.
okay, sir. Thank you for that. Thank you for your wonderful session, sir. So now I request our today's now I request Dr. G.S. Gawande, sir, convener of this webinar session, to share his remarks on this webinar session. Over to Gawande, sir.
Hello. Good evening to all.
Good evening to all.
Sir, first of all, I must say a special thanks to Anand sir. So, despite of all the difficulties in Vietnam due to COVID-19, he has accepted our request and he has guided us throughout this session in such a good manner. Sir, your ocean of knowledge, and due to time limitations, it was not possible to cover almost all the points. But really, it is appreciable that
So, sir, I have already discussed my problem to Dr. Dilip yesterday because actually over here everything is locked down and we have no food actually.
Yes, sir.
Still, there is lots of problems going on, sir. Actually.
Yes, sir. I came to know from Dheeraj Tudaskar sir and P.D. Kale sir, who are coordinating this event. They were in touch with you since last few days, and you are facing lot many difficulties over there. So thank you all, thank you sir for your real in spite of these problems, you have shown such a big energy as well as the passion. Sir, you tried to cover almost all the upcoming technologies, IoT, 6G, Industry 4.0 and all. So this is really because we listened so many, we attended so many webinars during this lockdown, and we listened these webinars fully isolated. Some webinars they were on IoT, some were on 6G or 5G, but you have given the integrated approach of all these technologies, upcoming technologies. Sir, many times we people are unable to imagine because technology is upgrading, technology is progressing in such a faster speed that we are not in a position to imagine what would be the picture tomorrow. But through this webinar, you have really created a nice portrait where all this, how the life will be in near future. Sir, the good part of the another good feature of this webinar is we received the participant from different spectrums, from different fraternities, right from students, faculty members, supporting staff, researchers, as well as some of the administrative people also and industry people also. Sir, your talk has really, this webinar has really triggered the students, faculty members and researchers as well as industry persons to do the research as well as projects for societal needs as well as the industry needs, which will take care of near future. As in the beginning, you are rightly pointed that nowadays students are declining towards taking the admission in electronics engineering. But after attending your webinar, we people are really charged up and triggered that so many avenues, so many job openings will be there in near future for electronics engineers. So this is really a positive part of this. Last but not least, I would like to congratulate the coordinators who are taking the efforts since last 15 to 20 days. They are continuously taking the efforts. They are trying to reach to so many people throughout the country and for organizing this knowledgeable event. I am thankful to all the participants for such a active participation in this event. Now, for vote of thanks, I'll pass on this. I'll request Professor P.D. Kale, who is the coordinator of this event. I request him to present vote of thanks. But before that, I make an appeal to all the participants that Anand sir has presented so many things to us, but it is not possible to create everything within such a shorter span of time. So I request on behalf of all the participants to Anand sir that in near future also, sir, we will be expecting guidance from you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir,
Now,
sir, first of all, let the situations get okay because these days we are facing lots of problems. That's all.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We pray at the lotus feet of our Gajanan Maharaj that these things will be sorted in soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
So now we are coming to the last session of this webinar. It is vote of thanks. So it's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, Professor Pawan Kade, coordinator of this webinar, on behalf of SSGMC family, extend my deep sense of gratitude towards Honorable Dr. Anand Nayyar sir for accepting our invitation of this webinar and providing insight into real research on wireless communication and IoT. Thank you, sir, for your valuable guidance and time. Also, I would like to extend my special thanks to our Honorable Director, sir, for providing the platform. I also wish to express my gratitude to our Principal Dr. S.B. Somani, sir, and our head, Dr. G.S. Gawande, sir, for providing encouragement, support, and opportunity to organize this event. I am thankful to Professor T.P. Marode, sir, and entire ERP team for their help in sorting all the in providing IT support. As no program can become successful with a single person. So I extend big thanks to my entire team, Dr. D.P. Tudaskar sir, Mr. Siddesh Katskure and Mr. Manish Tinkede, whose tireless effort results into success of this webinar. Last but not the least, I am very much thankful to all participants for giving such a huge response. Thank you each and everyone who directly and indirectly supported us for grand success of this webinar. Thank you. Now, with the permission of chairperson, I declare this webinar session is over. Dear participants, as mentioned in today's mail, We will now sending you feedback link in all four WhatsApp group. You might get this link in this chat box, Teams chat box, as well as WhatsApp group, as well as YouTube chat box. So you are requested to provide your valuable feedback there.